Hey there. Today I'm going to walk you through a really fun design in Pysanky. This one is, I don't know, maybe a little more modern than the traditional design that we're used to doing. It is super fun and really pretty easy, especially if you know the basics of Pysanky. It will not take you long to make it your own, play around with lots of different color combos. Today we are going to use turquoise and black. So an added bonus, later on I will walk you through a process called washing back. It is in regards to going from a darker color to a lighter color, in this case from the black to the turquoise. It is really pretty easy and lots of fun. So let's jump in. To begin this design, we're going to add different sized triangles just randomly around our egg. So as you begin your triangles, you're going to want to make sure to double each of your lines. We're just making them more substantial, a little chunkier. So this way they'll really stand out in our design, right? Now the beauty of this also is that none of these triangles need to match or even be the same size. Also, just to share, I'm using a medium-sized Kiska stick. I think it's kind of perfect for getting these chunkier lines in. So a couple other things to think about as you're making the triangles is, first of all, make sure that they're fairly good size so you'll have room to add your dots in our next step. And also, if your lines start to get a little wobbly, don't worry about it. As you go to add your second line to kind of thicken that, it's a great time to help straighten that out a bit, right? And again, these can be placed randomly, and they do not need to be even or match. Great. All right, now that we've gotten all of our triangles spaced around our egg, let's go in and begin to add dots within each of your triangles. As you add your dots, make sure that they're fairly good size so that there'll be a nice contrast to the smaller lines that we're going to be adding outside of our triangles next. Okay, once you've finished all your triangles, added all of your dots, our next step is to go in and start adding contrasting horizontal, vertical, and diagonal lines into little sections. At this point, I'm going to switch to using a fine tip Kiska. Feel free to stick with the medium size if you're a little more comfortable with that. The reason I like the fine tip is I think that it adds a little more contrast in our design. So this next step, I think it's easiest to start by simply connecting the ends of our triangles just to get an outline, right? And as we continue to make this outline, and you can certainly work in sections, you're going to want to go back in and divide up some of these larger spaces. It will not only help the design, but smaller spaces are easier to work within. When the spaces are smaller, the lines inside will be shorter. Shorter lines, I find, are much easier to keep straight than perhaps making these longer lines. So continue to find ways to just break those up. All right, now, as we begin to add lines within our spaces, the first thing I like to do, which I find helpful, is to choose a side of our space to follow. So this line I'm going to choose to repeat for this space. I find it easiest to work from left to right, I think simply because I'm right-handed. And also I like to work from the larger side to the smaller side. I think that's easiest. Now here's the key. The lines in each space should go in different directions than the one beside it, right? So as long as we don't go this way, the contrasting patterns will work. Because we've gone up and down, we've gone up and down this way. With this, let's go on a diagonal. All right, and with this, let's divide this up, shall we? So this one I'm following this line. With this one I'm following this. As a reminder, everything that we're adding right now, while the shell is white, will remain white. Now, let me think out loud. So I do not want the lines in this section to go this way. I certainly don't want them to go this way. But what I can do is I can follow this line. Okay, here's a little tip. If at any point you decide, oh, I don't really want to go in this direction, I don't want to follow this line, create your own line to follow. For example, I'm just going to create this diagonal, right? And as long as I have established that, I can repeat it. Also play around, give yourself permission to stop in the middle of a space and just change direction. It adds, I think, a level of interest, so you've got larger spaces and smaller spaces. If you get caught between lines that are going in the same direction, this is a good answer to that. And just continue playing with this. And if making straight lines is a challenge to you, this is a great design to practice on. So it's no one area that is necessarily standing out. It's the combination of all of it that I think is really beautiful. I want to stop here for a second and just say, don't worry if some of your outer lines look a little messy, maybe not quite so straight. As you add your interior lines, it'll all come together and look great. There's something calming about the chaos of this, right? One of the things I love about doing Pysanky is the smell of the beeswax. I love it. All right, now that you have finished filling in all of your open spaces, we're going to pop our egg into the first color, black. All right, so once we've pulled our egg out of the black, we're going to begin to fill in all of our large triangles. I will say, in this way, we're going slightly backward, in that normally we want to start with the lighter colors and move to the final color, which is black. In this case, we're actually going to retain the black, and then we're going to do a wash back, which I'm going to show you. By doing this option, it just saves us from filling in all of this area with wax. Stick with me, it's easy. Now for clarity, if we had put our egg in the lighter color first, the turquoise, we would then need to fill in all of the spaces around our dotted triangles with wax to retain that turquoise color, which is, as you can see, a lot of wax and takes quite a while. So by starting with the black and washing back, it's easier. So just to be clear, we're going to fill in each of the triangles that have our dots in them. And by doing this, we are retaining the black within our triangles. It's not always easy to see if you have covered your entire area, but one thing I find helpful, or when you get your little area filled in, you can kind of turn it a little bit, and as the light catches, sometimes you can spot little areas you may have missed. Okay, again, we're just gonna take a quick peek, see that we've gotten all of our triangles filled. Yep, that's filled. All right, before we can add our turquoise and finish up our egg, we first need to remove the black color or wash back the color. This will allow the egg then to take the turquoise color really beautifully. So all I have here is a mug with some distilled white vinegar, an old toothbrush, a soft toothbrush, and all we're going to do is gently pop our egg into the distilled vinegar. What this does is it will remove the last color that was on our egg, right? You can see the black slowly coming off. And then you're just going to take your soft brush, just remove that color. The vinegar acts as like a gentle acid, right? But again, because we have filled in all of our triangles, you can see those are remaining that black color, creating that pretty contrast. Okay, as you start to get the black off, what's going to be important to do is run your egg under some water to help neutralize that vinegar, right? And just continue to lightly remove that color. All right, again, I'm just going to run it under the water one more time, and then just gently pat your egg with a paper towel. And as you can see, we don't have all the color off, but this is just great, and your egg will now be able to take the lighter color. So let's go ahead and pop it into our turquoise. Now, even though this has a really pretty blue, by adding a darker, brighter color, those little intricate lines are really going to pop. Once you pull your egg out of the dye, the next step is simply to just remove the wax. And there you have it. To learn how to polyurethane or blow your egg, check out my Basics of Pysanky video. Please continue to play around, have fun with this design, and enjoy trying different color combos. And if you don't want to deal with the washing back, just want to go from a lighter color to a darker color, that's easy too. Here I went from pumpkin to red, from teal to green, or you can simply stick with one color like I did here with red. I've even done this design on quail eggs. Whatever you decide, just have fun. For more design ideas or for detailed info as to the basics of Pysanky, check out my other YouTube videos. I'll pop the links below. And feel free to subscribe. Thanks so much. I hope this has been fun.